Hey, everybody, and welcome to The Art of the Cave with me and Francesca. Francesca is a trooper. Even though she's coughing and hacking, she has joined us because it is a momentous day. Liberation Day last week was followed by Donald Trump playing a game of chicken with the global economy, holding Americans hostage in the backseat without a seatbelt. And in the game of chicken, it seems that he lost. Yes, he caved. And once China and Japan started dumping US bonds yesterday, Donald Trump said, okay, you know what? I win. I declare
I mean,
myself the winner.
which is wild because like China has so many US bonds, and also we're not pausing the tariffs on China.
Oh, no.
So I'm not really sure if this is going to have the desired impact, but anyway, I digress. Keep going.
Yeah, and so in addition to that, as Francesca said, China is going to still get these
China.
absurd tariffs. China has not caved, so expect reciprocal tariffs. As a result of Donald Trump doing this and claiming victory, folks, the stock market is still, by the way, recovering. It's not all like dandelions sprouting up and sunflowers. S&P is still down. U.S. manufacturers, U.S. Consumers are still going to be hit with higher prices because we get a lot of stuff from China. And perhaps the worst part is we have ruined and harmed our international standing. Because, Francesca, you know, you've been in some bad relationships and good relationships. If your
Why is
partner
this an indictment of me?
I'm not judging, so have all of us. But in your, you want your partner to be trustworthy, you want them to be reliable, you want them to be stable, right? If they are volatile and go back and forth and poop in a good situation and poop in the milk, do you trust them? No. And lo and behold, today reports came out that the world is going to China as a reliable, stable partner. So what Donald Trump did, folks, is he hurt the stock market. A lot of people lost their money. He hurt Americans standing. His art of the deal was caving. We still have imports on China. Prices of stuff are going to go up. Our allies are now going to China as a partner. So he's made China great again. But somehow this is a win. Oh, and I don't know if you saw Francesca. He kind of engaged in insider trading, but like publicly,
Yeah.
and posted, "Hey everybody, bye, bye, bye." And then he did not a pump and dump, but a poop and scoop. And so, if you're one of the one percenters who's lucky to buy the dip, you made a lot of money. Francesca, what did I get wrong?
No, I mean it's all right. Waj and I obviously host America Unhinged Tuesdays and Thursdays on Zateo's YouTube channel and Substack. I was talking about this with my Substack paid subs. You get bonus shows every Wednesday, but I'll give you the like TLDR, which is, that initially Caroline Leavitt said that this was proof that the tariffs within 2, 3 days worked. But then Trump himself, at a completely unrelated event, was basically like, "Well, people got yippee," which, I love Trump using these words that honestly yippee is a great word, but yeah, yippee because smarter people than you, of which yeah, there are some still left in your administration. They're not all Pete Hegseth, but people who are trotted out.
And Ron Vera, excuse me, don't forget Ron Vera.
Oh, Ron Vera, I mean, he's just a brilliant mind, really. But no, beyond Peter Navarro, I mean, you've got people like Scott Bessent, and you've got, Nutlick. I don't know, he goes either way, but like, like Bessent was like, okay, this needs to end. And everyone, and clearly last night I was going to bed and people were up on social going like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm here going like, should I take my money out? Like I picked the wrong year to invest. I'm a comedian, so like thinking of savings is like Jesus. I was like, should I take it out? Let's put it in a mattress. I lived in Buenos Aires in Argentina for 5 years, so I'm very, very familiar with stories of massive economic collapse and waking up the next morning and everyone's taking out their money. You try to go take out your money, you can't because banks have put a hold on it. So,
Yep.
I'm like freaking out. And so, thankfully, people in the administration were freaking out as well as Wall Street bros, and they all put the pressure. That's what happened. And Trump admitted it himself. It's not that he won, it's that everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? This is so ill advised. this is pie in the sky. You're building a yellow brick road to nowhere. You have no idea, this is your fascination, as I said. Trump is obsessed with tariffs like he's
Yep.
obsessed with any woman who isn't currently his wife. And that's like, what's the deal? And so, thank God, I think they put a pause on it. But Waj, I mean, to your initial sort of assessment, I do want to give credit to him for actually listening to everyone, but you're right that the damage has already been done in terms of trustworthiness, in terms of standing, but it's also been done if 10% tariffs are to remain, that is also going to have an impact no matter what on random countries like Lesotho that makes, diamonds, and so the die has been cast in a lot of ways. This is again not me saying to keep going, but in no way can you paint this like a win.
You see, you're too kind. I refuse to give him any credit for the 4D chess because, like you mentioned, he's been obsessed with tariffs. He doesn't know how it works. I know he doesn't know how tariffs and trade wars work because I listened to him. I think Wharton should give him a full refund because how the hell does Wharton produce this guy? I'm an English major, you're a comedian, and you and me have a basic understanding of trade deficits and tariffs. This guy does not. He thinks that any country like Lesotho, how do you pronounce it properly?
I don't even
La
know. I don't know.
Lesotho? I think it's Lesotho, but someone
Lesotho.
correct me if I'm wrong. A poor African country, which, by the way, the reason why they don't buy anything from us is because they're poor. So we have the money and we buy diamonds and gems from them, right? That's what happens. But this idiot thinks that any country that has a trade deficit with us that they are somehow, his words, screwing us. No, we have money. We buy things from them. They are poor, so that's why they don't buy things from us. And he doesn't even look at services and technology. He only looks at goods. So
Yeah.
some friggin' Doge member who's probably 20 years old came up with this formula, exports minus imports divided by imports, and plastered it on every single country on that beer chart. You told me it's a beer chart. I don't drink, but
It is.
Francesca
It
said
was.
the global tariff rates that look like a beer chart, which is why our ally Vietnam is like, yo, why are we catching strays? Why are we getting 47%? Madagascar and those two islands which don't have human beings, but damn it, those penguins and seagulls got to pay those 10%, right? So this is why I don't give him any credit. I think he's an idiot. I think he, in his old age, is atrophying. I think he gets stuff stuck in his head like groceries, windmills, Hannibal Lecter, tariffs. He's been talking about it since the 80s, refuses to listen to anyone. The person that he listens to, that Ron Vera comment I made, folks, the guy who's the economic whisperer in his ear is Peter Navarro. The way Donald Trump got hooked up with Peter Navarro was that Jared Kushner in 2017 went on Amazon, Googled someone who would be tough on China, found Peter Navarro's book, and that's how Pete Navarro became the economic whisperer. And in that book, the hawkish Peter Navarro, who wants to punish China and bring back manufacturing, he cites the genius of a man named Ron Vera. Ron Vera doesn't exist. Ron Vera is an anagram of Peter Navarro's last name, Navarro. This
This
is
is
where we
just
are.
so on brand. I mean, it's funny because it's like that was the first Trump administration. I understand what you're saying about not giving him credit. All I am saying, I think it is showing that Trump and the administration are not above pressure. And I
Mm,
think we, even if the we is, some Wall Street bro, have to take a little bit of a win here that like they're mostly tone deaf. They don't care. They're cruel. Um, but they're not above changing course. So meaning based on public pressure, based on people freaking out about it. We need the same kind of pressure, obviously, for everything else, the illegal disappearances and all that. So I feel you, but it's also, I think the good news is that he can be shamed by pure idiocy and of course correcting. I mean, granted, Ken Klippenstein has been reporting on like, B-52s being amassed to possibly attack Iran. So don't worry. There will be more, self-inflicted wounds coming very, very soon. Um, but this is definitely one of them. And in terms of the shorting of the stock, a lot of people are talking about
yeah,
it. I think the shorting of the stock is a it's like a boon. It's just like a little bit of a perk on top
yeah.
of what you're calling like a dumb move. Like I do think the tariffs are not about trying to short the stock. but I think they are an added bonus for him reversing and doing a bunch of whiplash. And honestly, I mean, and I was saying this to my patrons and my folks today, that like, remember why Elon bought Twitter? Elon bought Twitter because he was leaking or saying that, oh, maybe Tesla's going to go public, maybe this is going to happen, da da da. And the SEC was like, yeah, you can't do that. You can't go
Yeah.
online with these millions of followers and sort of fake pump about something that really did pump up your Tesla stock. That's illegal. Donald Trump just did that from the fucking office of the presidency.
Yep.
He just did that like openly on the globe. And so yeah, whether or not it is a, whatever, like a added benefit to all of this bullshit, it happened. And that is so wildly illegal to say, great time to buy. I do this, blah, blah, blah. That, like, who knows when we fully find out who sold, who bought in this time. I mean, I really do hope that some of those Wall Street bros, and I don't say that, well, yes, I say it disrespectfully, but you know what I mean? I hope some of them actually blow the whistle because a lot of them might know what is going on and who is shorting and who's selling and what's happening, who's got insider information.
Well, you know why I think they're not going to blow the whistle? Because what he did as both a distraction and the continuance of his authoritarian regime is he has cracked down on Miles Taylor. Miles Taylor used to work with Donald Trump in the first administration, kind of became, if you will, a whistleblower, talked about the incompetence. And today, I don't know if you saw this, but he has done an executive order cracking down on Miles Taylor, stripping him of his security clearance. And he's saying the DOJ is going to investigate him for potential treason. That just came out about an hour ago. So everyone is saying it's a distraction. Sure, it is a distraction, just like he said he's going to stay for a third term during Signalgate, which Francesca and I and people at America Unhinged have not forgotten of. We keep all receipts. But folks, it is all chaos, right? You have to keep all the receipts. You can, as they say in DC, walk and chew gum at the same time. He caved on the trade war. No country bent the knee. No country made a deal. I see MAGA trying to lie. No country did. Instead, America's reputation is damaged. Tariffs are still in place. Prices are going to go higher. Stock market is still down. People are going to China. It's like an arsonist who doesn't succeed in burning down the entire home, but like burns down the kitchen, and then comes back and says, "Look at me, I'm the best home repairman. I won." That's what Donald Trump just did to the global economy, and in a way, he's not winning right now by distracting. This Miles Taylor crackdown, I mean, this is pretty big, Francesca, because in addition to kidnapping and disappearing dissidents and, oh, I don't know, pro-Palestinian activists, oh, and I don't know, brown folks, now they're going to monitor anti-Semitic activity. I don't know if you saw that news
Yeah,
today.
well, I don't know about the Miles Taylor thing specifically. I was trying to follow you there, but can you explain it again? I have to go pretty soon
He,
because my
he,
daughter's coming
he,
back from daycare.
he signed an executive order right now to distract, but it's not just a distraction. It's an and chapter to the authoritarian regime is that he wants to punish Chris Krebs, who was appointed by Republicans who investigated the 2020 election and realized that the 2020 election was secure, the most secure election in history. He signed an executive order asking the DOJ to investigate Chris Krebs, the former director of Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and Miles Taylor for allegedly committing treason simply for doing their job. And specifically, Chris Krebs rejected the lie, the big lie that Trump won the election. He lost. And Miles Taylor, spoke out, didn't commit any crimes, and went against the boss by calling out the incompetence. And now he just signed an executive order today, stripping them of their security clearance and asking the DOJ to investigate them for potential
Oh, I'm
treason.
sure. I'm sure. Our girl, our girl Loomer had something to do with this. Good old Laura. Look, I think this is all terrifying, but that's like kind of on brand, and that's where I want to focus more on as we critique Trump and everything that's happening. Right now, today, DHS revoked the temporary protected status of hundreds of thousands of immigrants from places like Sudan, South Sudan, Venezuela, El Salvador, Haiti. I mean, it is open season. And to me, this is like, you know, yes, I care about people's savings, but I also care about people's lives. And I'm like, I don't know, there's a little bit of me that's like, I'm sort of like, yeah, let's get back to the how this is like a total like dirty war dictatorship. And he is doing the exact thing that, when we go on Piers Morgan, they're always like, well, Biden's really weaponizing every part of government. It's like, no, no, guys, you know what you're doing right now? You're paving the road and the way for when and if Donald Trump gets reelected, he can weaponize the DOJ and DHS and ICE and everything else. And yes, investigate the investigators. And yeah, and look, I do want to get to the bottom of, Four Seasons Total Landscaping. Who did book that? Was it Rudy? Let's, let Rudy loose, give him a bottle, handle of Kirkland vodka, and let's see what's up. Um, but it's just like, this is the same. I mean, I don't know. It's the same shit. And it's also like, why didn't we Trump proof this? Didn't we know this was going to happen? On and on.
Yep.
And and I think the other reason I'm kind of excited about this, and again, morbidly so, is that it's massively unpopular. The more Donald Trump kept talking about 2020, the more people got sick and tired of it.
Hmm.
When he was able to move back to like the economy, when he was able to move back to immigrants, that's when Democrats, failed to campaign because they also did that. That's when voters decided to throw in their lot with Donald Trump. But overall, the idea that the 2020 election was stolen, people are so sick and tired of that line. And of course, then people are sick and tired of also excusing the January Sixers. I wish we had a real opposition party, Waj. I wish we had someone real to really capitalize on this.
Yeah.
I wish it
And
weren't Chuck Schumer.
you know what? Some hope in a hypothetical that came out last week between Chuck Schumer and AOC in the New York Senate. AOC trounced Chuck Schumer. So this is going to be, unfortunately, the old guard. I'm not using the old as a pejorative, but it's like Charlton Heston, that classic clip from NRA. This is from for the old heads, a deep cut, when he held up the rifle and said, "You have to pry this from my cold dead hands." That's what we're dealing with the Democratic Party, the Jerry Connollys, the Debbie Dingles, the Senator Schumers, right? You need fighters. You need fighters who recognize that we're up against a right wing authoritarian, a fascist, and if just a handful of Republicans, folks, in the House and Senate, just think about this. They control the House and Senate. All you need is some liquid courage, some Kirkland vodka liquid courage for about six Republicans in the House and six Republicans in the Senate to stand up to Donald Trump and him hijacking the American economy and our freedoms and implementing this cruelty, which I agree with you is deeply unpopular, increasingly unpopular, as Americans are seeing students being straight up kidnapped with armed, DHS officials, ICE members. More and more people see this. More and more people see that innocent immigrant fathers are being detained. Not my word for it, folks. Trump administration admitted it.
Yeah.
Was it Alfredo Garcia? Abrego Garcia?
Alberto
Uh,
Garcia.
Abrego Garcia, the El Salvadoran father who's right now in a prison, based on an administrative error, folks. And the more and more people see this volatility, I do think, Francesca, you're right. The masses will rise up, but there's going to be so much damage. And a quick recap as we end this: Francesca did this as she was sick. Thank you, Francesca, for joining us.
No
Trump did
worries.
not win. There's no 4D chess. He played chicken. He swerved the car. He lost. No deals from any countries. Not a single country bent the knee. China now is being seen as a stable economy. People like Japan are allies, and South Korea are going to China. The only reason he caved was because Japan and China were dumping and selling US bonds. People freaked out. He freaked out. He let all the minions go out and lie and humiliate themselves. This is part of the plan. This is part of the plan. This is part of the plan. And then he said, okay, never mind, 90 days. And while he did it, folks, he did not just a pump and dump scheme, he did a poop and scoop scheme. And it straight up, as Francesca said, in front of the world, did illegal insider trading. People go to jail for what he literally did. In the morning, he said, bye, bye, bye. And a few hours later, okay, pause for 90 days. But actually, it's
Stay
not a pause,
calm.
it's on
Remain
China.
calm. Stay
Remain
cool,
calm.
everybody. Stay cool.
And it's not cool, guys. The economy has been hurt. People lost money. Prices of stuff is going up. Still
Yeah.
tariffs on China. We don't know what this dumb
You
mother
think
effer is going to do.
manufacturing is going to want to come back here? I mean, this is the whole thing. The idea of like, oh, what a stable place to build my factory. Like, no, that's not. And the thing about the bonds is really interesting, and it's above my knowledge level. But I do know that China owns a fair amount of treasury bonds and also our
Oh, yes.
debt. And so we have to be very careful with how we deal with China. And I hate giving him credit because he did so much wrong, but Joe Biden was actually pretty targeted and pretty good. And
Yeah.
in my mind, too hawkish when it comes to China, as if like, again, very Republican light on China, but still was targeted with his tariff, was targeted with his policies. And that's the diplomatic dance with which you have
Yeah.
to treat not just tariffs, but, foreign policy, Russia, North Korea, any other country. Like, it's not, diplomacy is actually difficult. And let's all remember, Trump never was a deal maker. He never wrote that fucking book. It was
Nope.
ghostwritten by him, for him. This man bankrupted casinos, people. Who among us, two of them? He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I swear to God, if I had the money, number one, you would never hear from me again. I would just like set up some sort of bookshop. It'd be a cafe. It'd be like it'd be a comedy club. It'd be chill. I would be
And
like the
you'd be happy.
I'd be
You'd
so
be happy.
I wouldn't need to run for office. I would support candidates. I'd be like the Soros, of the you know what I'm saying? But like he is so bad with money. He's never made a good deal. I mean, can we think the best thing he's ever done is dupe the American people into voting for him twice?
Yep. Yep. And he's, as Francesca said, he has been bankrupted not just once, not just twice, 6 times. And in addition to being bankrupted 6 times, he was born with a silver and golden spoon in his mouth because his father left him with about $300 million, which he squandered, which is how Russia, through Deutsche Bank, was able to, well, buy him. Folks, if me and Francesca even had $3 million, you would never hear from us again. And I would be so happy. I'd have all the Lego sets. I'd pay off my debt. I'd give money to my local community. I'd be a terrible capitalist. I'll be fine with $3 million. This is the incompetence. And I want to end on this. It's not art of the deal, folks. He is a con man. He's cosplaying as a businessman. He is an idiot. He has always been an idiot. There's no 4D chess, no 3D chess. He is a moron. The emperor wears no clothes. He wears a diaper. All right. This is who he is. And it's like that movie Glass Onion, right? Knives Out 2. It was
Mm-hmm.
right in front of you the whole time. It's a glass onion. There are no layers. And so,
And the
unfortunately,
real
folks,
the real danger, I think, is just watch. And what we have to really keep on calling out is everyone saying that the emperor does have clothes on. And for 2 weeks now, or for a week now, we've heard, it doesn't matter what it is, but the emperor has clothes. That everything's fine. Don't worry. Manufacturing is going to magically appear. It's JK, it's going to be automated. JK, it's going to be done by high school students. The point is this: there's so many sycophants around him, and that's what happens when you elect someone who does want to be a dictator and demands nothing but loyalty and is a mob boss. It's like, oh, checks and balances are actually good for everyone. Even you, my guy, even you.
and that Miles Taylor executive order today was the Godfather sending out the bat signal saying, if you cross me, and which is why all the reporting shows that the reason why we don't have just 4 or 5 Republicans in the House and Senate, that's all it takes. It's so narrow that can stand up and do their job to check him. That's the job, folks. Separation of powers is because on the deal, all of them are saying they're terrified of what? The MAGA base, and they're terrified of the violence. This is what happens
Yes.
when
Oh, yes. It's
Frankenstein's
not even the
monster.
money.
No, it's the fear. When Frankenstein's monster escapes the lab, Adam turns on Dr. Frankenstein, and we are all held hostage by the monster that they have created, and they refuse to rein in. Francesca, thank you so much for joining me. We are co-host of America Unhinged. It's Tuesday and Thursday. It's a new show. Some of you all didn't even realize I have Substack. Thank you for joining. This is why we're doing this. Francesca has a Substack. America Unhinged is on Zateo's YouTube page. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. It's a live show. The first time Zateo's done this type of show, a 1 hour live show, well produced with amazing guests. Check out our Tuesday show where we had Kat Abu Ghazaleh, 26-year-old new media maven who's running for Congress in Illinois. Thursday, we're going to have another good guest. We're going to book them and tell you it's going to be,
Walter Masterson is coming on Thursday.
oh, it's a book?
Com-
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, comedian Walter Masterson, and I think undoubtedly we're going to be talking about this Michael. Wait, what's his name again?
Miles Taylor and,
Miles
and Chris
Taylor.
Krebs.
Sorry, my
Some
brain.
scary shit.
So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, and everyone check out my Substack, check out my YouTube page, youtube.com/FrannyFio. Become a member. Support Watch, become a paid member to his Substack too. He does this way too much. And yes, we do need, I'm tired. I've
Yeah,
got
but someone said the last thing I'll say. Someone said in the comment section, if you all got 3 million, you wouldn't stop. Yes, we would, folks. $3 million. I'm a
now 3
44-year-old man.
million. I would still do it. I mean, give me like 15, and you'll never hear from me again.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? We're such terrible capitalists. We keep I keep every content for free because unlike Francesca, I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. Actually, I'm not an idiot. I'm a fool because I actually could be a good capitalist. I know what to do, but I believe democracy dies in darkness, and I believe while you're fighting fascists, there shouldn't be paywalls. So
That's very
if you
nice
can't,
of you.
I'm an idiot. My immigrant father just cries
No,
every
but you
night.
look,
But if
there's
you can,
paywalls for everything, so it's important to have smart people like you putting out that stuff. So, yes,
If you can, subscribe to the Left Hook, subscribe to Francesca's Substack, watch her show, and thank you all for joining us. We're going to keep doing this. Watch us tomorrow if you have never have. It's actually a good show. I'm not just saying it because I co-host it. If you don't watch it for me, watch it for Francesca. She's awesome.
no,
America
yeah, and
Unhinged,
watch it for
8
our
p.m. Eastern
guests
Time.
who are smarter than us, and also Melanie, our producer, does a great job, and Zateo does a great job. So subscribe to them as well. Thanks, Watch, for having me.
And now Francesca can go cough and pass out.
Yes.
Take care,
Goodbye.
everyone.